taking my evening walk in Carpinteria, and I'm on one of the back roads. It's off the Real. Don't know the name of the road, but everything looks so tidy, cleaned up. Now, I wouldn't necessarily farm my avocados this way. They've cleaned up all the leaf litter, and I prefer having a massive pile of, there's some underneath that tree, but it does look like this just allows the soil to dry out quicker, doesn't provide any nutrition. And my other criticism would be I wouldn't skirt my avocado tray that high. But this may be kind of a hobbyist venture here, where they just mainly want it to look orderly. Well, you can see it's very orderly here. But the thing that really caught my eye when I turned the corner was this jacaranda tree. It's just magnificent. Enjoy that. Mountains in the distance. Okay. Here's another orchard, another clean orchard. And of course the advantages are you can see things, you can walk around. They've left leaf litter here at the bottom. So this is fine, you know, keep that cleared. You can see your drip lines. That's all good. That looks good. In a little bit I'll take a video over at my place where I show how I've just used my yard trimmings rather than putting them in that brown barrel for the green or leaf, or you know, or not organic. Well, yeah, I guess it's organic. The you know, yard trimmings. I just, you know, once in a while I'll send that out, and they are, I guess, used someplace, and that's a good thing. But I just think it's a big waste of time and money when you can use your trimmings to use it as mulch. Anyway, I'll show you that in a little bit. When I came through here a few minutes ago, and even now, there's a bunch of dragonflies hanging out right here. Probably can't see them on this camera, but gee, there's a bunch of them right now. And the other day when I was listening to that buzz, hum sound up on the bluffs, somebody noted that it might have been cicadas. And that's probably what that was. 17-year cicada. I've read about them. I can't remember how that works, but I guess they disappear for a long time and then return. My dad taught me to appreciate nature. I think I was a natural appreciator. And I have certain memories when I was in the village green. I remember one day, it was just a little kid, maybe less than 2 years old, going out on that green, and I can still see the dandelions, bright yellow, vivid green grass, and those puffy white flowers. Just enjoyed that. Another time I remember playing in a sandbox when I was over at grammar school, probably 2nd or 3rd grade, and just being aware of the sun and the warmth, and just feeling it, enjoying it. And now as I'm walking along, I feel a breeze, got my shirt off, just enjoying the breeze, feeling that wind, you know, and it's very mild here now. But I think, you know, I've enjoyed that feeling even when it's really cold. Not so much when it's hot, though, I'll admit that. Another nature memory was, I was living in Long Beach, about 22, 23 years old, feeling really good, you know, I mean, everything's working then. And I just remember, for some reason, I just fell to the ground on my stomach. and sort of embrace the earth. Just, you know, it's not something I do very often, but just get in touch with the animal, human side and the connection and the joy and appreciation of the earth, of life. Another one I remember, I was about 15 or 16, again in the village green, and there was a tree out on the big green, and it was summertime. Nobody around in particular, but I just remember touching that tree, holding that tree, enjoying the shade of that tree, and just being glad to be alive. There goes my neighbor lady, Pauline. Anyway, I just found out she's run many marathons, and look at her go, you know, she's running really well. I was bragging a little bit to them, Pauline, about, well, I used to run a lot. You know, I only ran 4 marathons, and I remember one I bet a guy that I could break 2:48. I was just guessing, you know, I'd only run a couple, and I thought it was realistic. And it turns out it was Culver City, I think, 1975. And damn, I ran 2:48:04. Unbelievable. I missed it. But the thing was, I was about 20 miles into that marathon. I think that's just a little over 6-minute pace. It's under 7, maybe 6:30, 6:40. And so I was feeling good. Culver City's pretty flat. And then this woman comes storming by me. Cute little thing, cute little woman. And anyway, found out later that was Jackie Hansen, who that day set a new world record for the women's marathon. It was probably around 2:40, give or take. Probably a little under 2:40. She wasn't that far ahead of me. But anyway, interesting story, and she's around. She's starts the Boston Marathon these days, or has in the past anyway. Okay, there's the bin Harrison provides, and they pick it up twice a month. It's a huge bin for a very small yard, which, you know, when I asked if I could opt out and get a little discount on the collection, and they said, no, you got to take it. And consequently, sometimes I use it, whether I need to or not, just because I'm paying for it. But I just did some trimming out here, and here's what I mean about just tossing it on the ground. I mean, you can see you don't want so much that it's a fire hazard or a rodent attraction, but it's surprising how fast that'll just... Here's an older one right there, and you can kick it around, and that nourishes the soil and allows, you know, really makes a difference on holding the water down. You don't have that evaporation off the top of bare soil as you would here. And okay, it's almost Father's Day. I remember I had a neighbor who also grew avocados, and he noticed that the avocados seem to, the ones that are set by Father's Day are more likely to stay. Like you can see here, look at that, look at those big ones right there. See, now you can be pretty sure they're going to stay. And as I've mentioned in the past, there's more that you'll set just thousands of them, and one day or over a period of days they just will all pop off. Even though they look like little baby avocados, they just come off, and that's just normal, that's natural. I don't know if you can see in there, I have so many big avocados this year. And maybe you saw my video from, I think it was 2014. This tree was a mess because after 10 years, I was here 10 years prior to that, and I just let it go. I just didn't I've been growing them, and I just let this thing neglected it. And then I suddenly got interested, and now it's a magnificent specimen, loaded with fruit. I think I get probably 500 avocados or more on a good year. We've had some wind, and I'm not really on top of it. I mean, these are all ready to pick. But the nice thing about an avocado tree is they can hang a long time. I mean, they can be ready to pick after 8 or 9 months if everything's going well, and then you can let them hang maybe almost another year. Very wonderful tree. They're not really a hazard. They're good for fire suppression. They're not necessarily brittle or known to crash into property and damage property. The thing is, they do need water. Okay, I'm blabbing. Oh well, one final thing. This is a system I put in about 6 months ago. 4 6-volt batteries wired in series, so for 24 volts, and I got about 600 watts of panels, 6 100-watt panels. And oh, I don't know if that's going to show, but this will show. This gives you all the info. 26 volts battery, and right now the batteries and the solar power are powering not all my utilities, but a couple of rooms. And here, right now, the solar are putting out 65 to 70 watts, 1 amp, and for the day I've done 1.35 kilowatts. So that's a 100-watt bulb for 13 hours, roughly. And recently I've had about 2.5 kilowatts, and on bad days, you know, it might only be 500, 600, 700 watts of power on real short, cloudy days.